not here to bash people for feeling sick and trying to feel better. That's not what this is about. You know, again, my issue is always the pseudoscience and the seemingly total lack of care for animals. Hello, guys. I was making myself sick by makeup hoarder Tati Westbrook. I have a few videos talking about her silly supplements, both the original Halo Beauty and the newer anti-aging one, just pointing out how thin the evidence is for the ingredients in these, and also that we should really be skeptical of anyone who feels comfortable enough to charge people actual money for things with so little evidence. But this isn't about supplements, this is about diet. Apparently, Tati has been feeling really bad for her whole life, basically, and now she is feeling amazing because of animal products. She isn't full-on carnivore. She says she does eat some vegetables, but it's mostly animal products.
I hope you guys can see that in my videos that I am a different person now. You can look back and you can literally see just like the stiffness and the inflammation.
I really don't see any difference here. You know, maybe she does because it's her and it's her body, and so she can tell, she knows what it feels like. Or maybe it's just placebo, right? She wants the new diet to work. She wants it to make her feel better, and so she feels better. The brain's pretty amazing.
Now I'm a little more aware of microplastics in this past year, just kind of going on this deep dive. What I want to purify out of my system, what I think is disrupting hormones or potentially causing other issues. So with water, I think filtering is a really, really important thing to do. I do not drink tap water.
This is probably the least concerning thing about the video, which is really saying something. There's currently no evidence that microplastics in our drinking water are harming us, but of course, absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. We could learn in the future that they are indeed harmful for us in the amounts we're actually consuming. So, you know, if you want to avoid unfiltered water, if you want to filter your tap water, whatever. Although not all filters are equal, apparently, when it comes to microplastics. One picture increased the number of microplastic particles per liter of water to 437.4 particles, a 1,206 increase. Like, aw, I want to give that filter a hug. He tried so hard. Poor guy. It's weird she's talking about microplastics and drinking Fiji water.
You guys know I'm a Fiji fanatic.
Fiji water comes in a bottle, a plastic bottle, and generally bottled water is worse in terms of microplastics.
I am even these days putting salt in my water if I feel like I'm sweating and working out and I want to remineralize. I'm on that game where I'm like not afraid of salt anymore, be it the right kind.
I'm gonna guess table salt. Table salt is the problem here. Table salt, sea salt, it doesn't matter. They're the same. That's not true. Table salt could actually be better if it's fortified with iodine. A lot of sea salt is not.
My whole life I've honestly felt pretty crap.
Yet apparently she felt great before. I saw a lot of comments like this one on Reddit talking about this video and talking about how she hyped up how she was eating before, a more plant-based diet. And she kind of alludes to it herself at the beginning of this video.
I would have been super duper triggered by a lot of what I'm going to share. Meaning a couple of years ago when I thought I had everything figured out.
We see this all the time when these influencers change their diets, with these people who were vegan and now eat more animal products, that when they were promoting vegan, they felt great, but apparently they didn't. I wonder if these people are just always chasing perfect health, right? They're never really going to be satisfied. If they get a cold, it must be something wrong with them. It must be the diet. They must need beef liver.
I just also want to say that me from the future will probably look at this having evolved and figured more things out for my life journey and look back and be like, wow, yeah, you got that wrong, you got this wrong.
Which is fine. We all get stuff wrong. It's good to acknowledge that and correct ourselves when we mess up. But then she says this.
You mean to tell me eating healthy, saturated fat, good fat from animals,
to acknowledge that you are probably gonna be wrong, and then to say something that goes completely against consensus to promote something that we know raises LDL. This is not conjecture. This is not correlation. It's what saturated fat does. This is much different from like, oh, I feel better when I don't eat gluten, or hey, drink coconut water. Like, whatever, who cares? This is something that has no benefits. It's not an essential nutrient, and it can be very harmful. So be wrong, But please be a little more careful when A, you're promoting something that goes against consensus, odds are you're wrong, and B, could be extremely harmful for your viewers if they follow in your footsteps, which, gee, going by the comments, it looks like they might. I really don't think the leading killer in America needs any more help.
I went through a really unhealthy phase in high school where I was like fat-free everything. I was a cheerleader, I wanted to fit in my uniform, and I think it made me a little bit cuckoo.
Just to be clear, you don't have to do either extreme, and that's not at all what's recommended. I know it was confusing for a long time, partly because of public health experts. They were worried that we were too stupid, basically, that people wouldn't be able to understand that there were good fats and bad fats. So the message basically became fat is bad. But the message for a long time has been that no, it's good to eat fat. There are some fats that are beneficial and there are some that aren't. It's pretty simple.
Your brain needs fat. Your body needs fat. Aside from seed oils, which I have a bone to pick with, massive, massive way to just wreck your health. That was like the domino one that went bonk, and everything else just like slammed into place.
Of course, this is very, very trendy right now, which I guess makes sense for someone like her, a YouTuber. I mean, that's what they do. They promote makeup, they promote makeup trends. That's how they make money. If you're just always promoting the same product, I mean, no one's going to watch your stuff. You have to constantly talk about new products. Oh, now it's liquid lipstick that's in. Here's this new liquid lipstick. Oh no, it's glossy lips now. Those are the only two things I can think of. Bold brows versus not that. Can we stop that? I don't know. I'm not a makeup expert or anything, but we gotta stop that, right? And this being the starting point, Domino 1, as she says, really explains a lot. When you start with something so stupid, whatever follows is gonna be pretty stupid, right? Seed oils are bad. Saturated fat must be good. Hey, let's put arsenic back in cosmetics while we're at it. Point is, vegetable oils are fine for the most part. Many of them are healthy. Consumer Reports has a great article on this. And if you want a more in-depth, a super in-depth, really, look at this, I highly recommend A Comprehensive Rebuttal to Seed Oil Sophistry. Great title. Which concludes that while lots of unhealthy packaged foods contain seed oil, that doesn't mean the oil itself is harmful. Vegetable oils appear to be a health-promoting addition to the diet and seem to offer a range of health benefits and little to no apparent health risks to the general population. Just don't eat a bunch of junk food. Duh.
I am not a doctor and this is not medical advice, but in my personal situation and story, I have done bioidentical hormones. I had thyroid issues. I've been on antidepressants, and I am so happy and pleased and personally proud. So please do not take this from me and be like, you are shaming people. I am not. I am just living my best. I am not on any medication at all.
I'm not a doctor, guys, but also I found the miracle cure. I found saturated fat and it helped me get off all my medication. But really, I'm not a doctor. But also I felt like shit my whole life and now I feel amazing. Many people are going to follow that. Why wouldn't they? A lot of people don't know better, or they're so sick and desperate they're willing to try anything to help them feel better. Just saying that, well, it's my journey, guys, I'm not a doctor, it doesn't absolve you of your influence.
No T3, T4, no hormones trying to get my body ready for pregnancy.
Apparently she has had trouble getting pregnant, and yeah, that can make people desperate too, right? And there are a lot of people peddling this saturated fat, anti-seed oil thing for fertility, for balancing hormones, which she talks about in this video. So yeah, if that's really the impetus behind this, it makes sense. I can understand why she would fall for it.
I feel responsible for my day in, day out choices, and that is something powerful to grab a hold of.
Absolutely. This is why cancer quacks are so successful. This is why people railing against seed oils for fertility are so successful. It's awful to accept that sometimes things are just outside of our control. There are things that may help prevent cancer, may help lower your risk for cancer. There are things that may help with fertility, but there's no guarantee. And sometimes we're just infertile. Sometimes we're too old and there's nothing we can do about it.
But I knew I was having digestive issues. Every time I would eat, literally my stomach would expand, and I'm like, this is not right. I went to doctors. Some had good advice. Some were like, you're just swallowing air when you're eating. I think that was like the funniest piece of advice ever, where I'm like, I don't think so. And I don't know if I trust your assessment here because like I feel like I might be dying every time I eat a meal.
Yeah, that is absolutely not normal. Her doctor sucks. I swallow a lot of air when I eat. I don't end up in pain. I just burp a lot. She brings up IBS, which I have talked about on this channel as a condition that doesn't always pair well with plant-based, with veganism. Some people with IBS do much better with more fiber. Some people do worse. Some people do better with certain fiber, soluble versus insoluble. And that could explain why she's feeling so much better. She's eating more animals, less plants, less fiber. Fortunately, you don't have to go to the other end of the spectrum like her and eat mostly animals. There are ways to minimize fiber intake on a plant-based diet, even a vegan one. Again, check out my IBS video.
Like I used to have to take my afternoon nap. That's embarrassing, okay? Like I would film and then James would be like, are you off to take your nap? Like I'm like grandma over here, like taking my, 2 p.m. nap time.
A lot of people feel tired in the afternoon. Most, maybe? I mean, afternoon slump, isn't that a common phrase? Most people don't nap because they can't afford to nap. They're at work. They're not a YouTuber who can just set their own schedule. Or they have kids running around. I'd love to take a nap every day. Honestly, that's not true anymore. I started to not nap every day a few months before I got pregnant last year. It just all of a sudden, I didn't need a nap anymore. I wasn't even sleeping the same amount. I was sleeping like a normal 7 to 8 hours a night. Okay, great. Then I got pregnant and everything went to shit. And now I'm back to not needing a nap every day. I think I've napped one time in the last month. And it's not like I'm powering through. No, I mean, before I was so tired. I had to nap. It was terrible. It was painfully tired. What did I do? I wish I knew. Point is, sometimes things just change about us. There's a lot going on. We can't always pinpoint the cause. Maybe it's multiple causes. For her to say that, oh, it's her diet, it's because she gave up gluten, who really knows?
I absolutely don't think gluten is great for you.
Again, consensus is not on her side here.
I had it in my head that drinking green juice every morning and doing protein shakes and eating a lot of vegetables and a lot of processed vegan food was like super healthy. And a lot of plant milks were also healthy.
Because soy is bad? It's not. Soy is fine. Again, it could be the fiber. If it's IBS, it could also be FODMAPs. The two often go together.
I am suspecting now that I have an issue with how my body handles oxalates.
Another very trendy topic. I have a whole video on oxalates and some celebrity who stopped being vegan because of them. Yeah, they're usually not something you need to worry about unless you're eating like mountains of spinach a day. Maybe don't do that.
For the first time in my life, I feel 100% great and I'm going to stick with it. Everything, my energy, I don't take naps anymore, no medication, and I feel like I look better too.
She looks exactly the same to me. It's hard to tell with it looks so like there's filtering going on, right? It doesn't, right? And she also gave up Botox, so it could just be that. I'm pretty sure that has nothing to do with diet.
Intermittent fasting, I think, can work really well for men. I think for women, our hormones are so up and down and they move around in the different parts of the month. And I think that it can be really hard on your hormones.
Another trend, man, she's right on it, Intermittent fasting used to be great for everyone. Nope. Now it's not good for women. Who else? I think Earth Mama, right? She said that too. She also promoted saturated fat and other pseudoscience. Intermittent fasting is fine if it works for you. Cool. If it helps you maintain a healthy weight, cool. There's no evidence that it's like uniquely bad for women or bad for our hormones. I know it's silly, but hearing all this like hormone, I feel like I'm constantly hearing women's hormones and we can't do this because of our hormones. And I don't know, it sounds so old fashioned and like kind of sexist and belittling. Like, fuck you, man. My hormones don't control me. If I want to starve myself till noon, I'm going to starve myself till noon. Suck it, estrogen.
But I am the smoothie queen. I do collagen and I do raw eggs. Don't come at me. You are putting yourself in more danger eating fast food, in my humble opinion.
She has really drank the carnivore Kool-Aid, huh? Yeah, don't eat raw eggs, guys. What the fuck?
They're just some things you can't get from plants. There just are.
No shit. B12, which we can get from a pretty cheap supplement She might be thinking of some others that anti-vegans love to bring up. They are also not reasons to eat animals.
The animal products that I am eating, I do order from a local farm for the majority. I do shop at Whole Foods here or there. I like knowing where things are coming from, and I want full maximum benefit of the food. A lot of the production for your packaged vegan plant-based foods and just traditional packaged food in general, there are so many process steps, so many people involved. The industry it's an industry, and that does stress the environment as well. I'll throw that out there. I know someone's like boiling right now.
One of the dumbest things you can do is eat locally to save the environment, particularly if that means eating more animal products. If you want to positively change your carbon footprint, that means eating less animals. And I don't think she really cares about animal welfare, given she does not mention it even once in this 30-minute video. But it's important to remember that the animals really don't care if you buy their dead body parts locally or not. I have more here, but that's like a lot. I think we can stop. Oh, she does say she eats oysters.
I do oysters.
Much better animal choice, given they are very likely not sentient. Oh yeah.
The bioavailability of animal protein is just like next level. When you eat eggs, organs, when you're eating meat, you are actually eating something the body knows what to do with. And that's where you get that surge of energy, and that's where you get your skin looking better and your hair looking better and your vibrancy for life.
Painfully dumb. The body doesn't know what to do with plants. I have been vegan for 13 years. My partner has been vegan for even longer. If that were true, we would not be here. We would be dead. And also, I love the whole, this is just what works for her, followed by, we can't absorb nutrients from plants.
When you eat eggs, organs, when you're eating meat, you are actually eating something the body knows what to do with.
She is not talking just about herself. She is very clearly encouraging people to eat animals for life vibrancy or something.
Did your diet change help your endo symptoms? You guys, I now have not had to take so much as Advil in about 8 months.
That's great, but it doesn't mean it's the diet, and it's a really risky diet to promote when you don't know that's what's going on. And to be clear, it's not at all the diet that is promoted for endometriosis. Quite the opposite.
This is going to sound really, really crazy, but through really diligent prayer, I started feeling like, let go of this, let go of that, and really put your health in check. And, you know, the body is your temple.
So is she better because of her diet or because of prayer? I'm not really sure how that works. And the body is your temple stuff. It never seems very Christian to me, because the only people I hear say that are like her. They're spending exorbitant amounts of money and time chasing the dragon, chasing perfect health. It's not really about being healthy enough to be good stewards of the earth, to help yourself so you can help others. That's what being a Christian is to me, as someone who is clearly not Christian, but that's what I think being a good Christian is, right? It's about altruism. It's about helping others. It's not about spending as much money as possible to make yourself the best possible version of yourself.
A lot of people will point out like food's so expensive, like this just is impossible. It is the most important thing to be healthy. You don't have a chance to excel and be the best version of yourself if you are not like in your potential.
I don't know, man. It seems kind of selfish. Doesn't seem very Christ-like. But again, it seems like she has had a lot of health issues. I understand there are people with issues who really struggle to be vegan and even can't be vegan. There was one person I remember who had a soy allergy and other legume allergies, and I think some nut allergies as well. And again, the fertility thing, I can understand that making women do some maybe really silly things.
It was during a time with COVID where I was surrounded by nothing and I wasn't posting, and I was like, man, doesn't even matter if I exist. You know, like I have nothing. I have no kids.
At the end of the day, she's an influencer, and she is influencing a lot of people and telling people that saturated fat is good, actually, and promoting eating lots of animals, and not once mentioning the harm this is doing to animals, whether they are locally farmed or not. And if she really does need to eat this way, then offset. I'm sure she doesn't know anything about that, but maybe if you're in that position, give money to effective animal charities, and not like dogs and cats, but farm animals, organizations that do their best to help farm animals, that promote plant-based products and clean meat. Give money to those organizations to try to offset some of the damage you're doing. This is certainly something she could do. It's not like she is hard up for cash. And again, oysters are a great choice. And I said clean meat. Promote clean meat. Invest in clean meat. One of these days, I'm going to see an ex-vegan video where they talk about offsetting and they talk about clean meat. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to happen. I feel it in my heart. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I was not too mean. Clearly, I am not the biggest fan of hers. I mean, yeah, the James Westbrook? No, what's his name? James Charles situation where all of them were just gross, and then the supplements, and it just, it's hard to trust someone like that. I think she's proven herself to be not particularly trustworthy. So it's really hard for me to respond to things she says in this video as if they're true, to just assume she's telling the truth. It's really hard for me. Like, does she really have an issue with gluten? She says gluten intolerance. Like, what does that mean? Did she see a naturopath or something? Yeah. Regardless, again, I don't really, it's not that I don't care, but I wouldn't just make a video about someone who was struggling and is eating animal products again. I'm not here to bash people for feeling sick and trying to feel better. That's not what this is about. Again, my issue is always the pseudoscience and the seemingly total lack of care for animals. Okay, I'm done. Thank you again. Like the video, subscribe. Thank you so much to my patrons at patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. I do post 2 exclusive videos there a month for $5 plus patrons. I'm running out of air. Thank you again. Goodbye.